on WBOK 1230 AM and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Do you know what United Way can do for you and your community? Find out by listening to United Way and You every Thursday at noon on WBOK 1230. United Way continues to fight for the most vulnerable members of the community. Find out how this Thursday and every Thursday at noon.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Whoa, now. What's happening, good people? And how you doing? Hoping everybody's doing all right. Hope you're having a great day. I hope you had a great weekend. It is Monday. Time to get into it. We got a lot to talk about. Short time to talk about it in, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it in. We're going to get it in. So, hope you're ready. Our number, 504-582-9422. That's 504-582-9422. Make sure you write it down, put it in your phone so that you have it, so that we can talk, so that you can make some comments about all this stuff that's going on in our community right now. So what's the big talk in, I guess, regional terms here? The big talk is Louisiana the big winner when we start talking about business? What are you talking about, Gerard? We getting a Hyundai plant? Hyundai is to build a $5 billion steel plant in Louisiana, creating 5,000 jobs. It's going to be in Ascension Parish near Donaldsonville. And according to the announcement that was made by Trump and Governor Landry, the plant's going to serve as steel supply for Hyundai. That's according to Louisiana Economic Development. Hyundai Steel Company is expected to create more than 1,300 direct jobs with an average salary of $95,000 and 4,500 indirect new jobs for a total of 5,400 potential new jobs. Hyundai's decision to invest nearly $6 billion in Ascension Parish speaks volumes about Louisiana's skilled workforce, robust infrastructure, and our ability to compete for innovative manufacturing facilities, says Governor Jeff Landry. His announcement makes clear that Louisiana's manufacturing sector is roaring back, and thanks to this historic tax reform, as he has called it, our business-friendly approach, and the many competitive advantages our state has to offer international powerhouses like Hyundai. In recent years, Louisiana has been working to attract large manufacturing plants and those facilities by revising its tax code to compete with states like Tennessee, Texas, and Florida. The governor's office described this development as a transformational moment for the state following the establishment of a Meta facility in North Louisiana late last year. In order to win the project, the state had to offer HSC a competitive incentive package, including a $100 million performance-based grant for infrastructure improvements and other upgrades, including road, rail, electric, and pipeline. So the effort to attract the Secure Hyundai Motor Group in Louisiana is the most recent example of how our whole of Louisiana approach is making our state more competitive by fostering an economic ecosystem that provides an ease of doing business. Louisiana Economic Development Secretary Susan Burgess said. And the HSC is also partnering with the Port of South Louisiana to build a deep water dock on the west bank of Ascension Parish to accommodate steel materials and shipments. Well, River Parish's community college and Louisiana College Community and Technical College system are supporting the project, the workforce that needs to be developing a workforce training center. This workforce center will be equipped with hands-on skill coaches from LED's Fast Start program and modern learning spaces in order to provide job-specific instruction and administrative assistance. In quotes here, it says, Ascension is proud to support businesses that drive both progress and opportunity for our citizens, Ascension Parish President Clinton Cotman said. Though Hyundai Steel Company, we will see through the creation of 1,300 new jobs, with many positions being filled by individuals trained right here in Ascension Parish. Education and training are essential in addressing poverty and inequity and laying the foundation for lasting economic growth. Today marks a milestone in our community's journey toward a brighter and more prosperous future for all of Ascension. Hyundai Steel Company anticipates construction to begin in the third quarter of 2026. U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy issued a statement on the project saying, "Made in America is good, but made in Louisiana is even better. My team has advocated for Hyundai that Louisiana is the best state to invest in, and I'm glad they agree. Thank you to President Trump and Governor Landry for the support for American manufacturing and Louisiana jobs." So the average job, they're saying, is going to pay a salary of $95,000 a year. And 4,500 indirect new jobs. And we're talking about a total of 5,400 potential jobs. That's interesting. I'm glad to see that there's some development going on. Well, what you got to say about that, Gerard? Look what's happening. Nothing. We'll see. We'll see. Construction doesn't start until what, 2026? So we got a ways to go. So we'll see. We shall see. Did you go early vote? And I'm talking to everybody here. 504-582-9422. Did you go early vote? Or are you waiting till election day to go vote? Did you go early vote? Or are you waiting till election day? A lot of folks don't like to early vote. They like to vote the day of, and I'm not taking that away from you. I think folks that push the early voting, they push the early voting so that you won't have something else to do, forget to go, and, you'll have some time to go and do it again if you don't have the time that day. So, since you got a week before, you can go early vote. But a lot of folks are like, man, I don't like going early voting. I want to go and hit the election, the day of, the election day. And I don't know about you. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't heard anybody speak good about those amendments. Have you? I have not heard anybody speak good about those amendments. Nada, zero, zilch. And that makes me go, well, what you expect? It has nothing to do with what's good for Louisiana. And there's a big conversation that is happening with some other folks that are looking at those amendments and what they could do to the state in the future. We'll get into some of that as well. We shall get into some of that as well. But Lord, it's late in the day. And look who we got in the building.
Here I am.
Hey!
Hey.
Where you been?
Where I've been, man, just in these academic streets, going to and from presentations and conferences and all that kind of stuff.
Dr. Shepard, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everyone.
At the new time.
At the new time.
Yeah.
I'm seeing you in a new way.
What?
I'm seeing you in a new way at a new time.
I'm sorry. What does that mean?
In a new way.
Do I look
I usually see your 1 o'clock face.
Oh, I thought I was getting ready to say, do I look sexy or something? You know.
Always, G, always.
I owe you some money. That's
Look, well, why we talking about it?
Yes, indeed. What's happening, Terry?
Hey, Gerard, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
All right. And look, Gerard, I'm not trying to get off subject, but I have to, say what I want to say. I would be quick about it. I heard the interview. Oliver had an interview this morning with that Otto Simpson.
Yeah.
And I mean, where's the tie? Everybody's tying Oliver, not everybody, but the announcer, he tied Oliver up with the mayor, Cantrell. And I'm like, where's all this tying Oliver up to Mayor Cantrell? I think Oliver, won the election for the last 3.5 years. I know he beat what her name, Miss Wynn, out there in New Orleans East. So he hasn't been there for 8 years. So what's the tie with him and Mayor Cantrell? And he kept telling Oliver that what do you have to do with Mayor Cantrell, with her policies and this and that? And I'm like, Oliver said, I don't have nothing to do with that. I'll just, try to, work with the people that I'm working with. That was Oliver's response. And I'm saying to myself, I heard somebody else say that not too long ago. They're trying to tie Oliver up with Mayor Cantrell. I'm like, do you see any kind of fit with that, Gerard, or what? I'm just asking you a question.
So if I'm really trying to tie somebody up with something that I'm not for, I'm going to find the most negative, or I'm gonna make something up to tie you along with it. So even though that Oliver is his own man, he's the only representative for District E. He is not the sitting mayor. He has the right to run, and I don't know why they say that they're trying to say that that's his hookup, because it's not. He got the right to run.
Yeah, but Gerard, what I'm trying to cut to the chase is that they're trying to say, the announcer, the radio announcer, and other people just trying to put Oliver like with her, and why didn't he go against the petition to get her removed? And I'm like, what does that have to do with Oliver? I mean, Oliver came in as a councilman representing the district. So what does he have to do to, sign off?
Well, the first thing I would have asked Terry was,
it's almost like a conspiracy in my book, Gerard.
The first thing that I would have asked him is, did he ask any of the other council people? Did they go along with the petition? And did he ask any other? I mean, did he ask Elena Moreno? Did he ask J.P. Morrell? Did he ask any of the other? He made a statement instead of asking the question. Why you didn't go with it? Why should I go with it? That is her own personal issue. They're not against me. I am an elected official just like she is. That they can say that they want to have thrown out of office. But
I'm sorry. I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand. Are you saying is the implication that he should have? Is that like the
Yeah,
Yeah,
implication
that's
that he should
automatically
have
because he's saying why he
wanted to
didn't.
get her impeached
Yeah, why he didn't have her
or
removed,
have her removed? Well, I mean,
recalled. I'm sorry.
everybody wasn't on board with that though. That's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's like a decisive issue one way or another.
So I would have asked him to turn around. So I'm ignorant enough, Terry, that I would have asked, was that Newell Norman?
Yeah, you know it was,
Oh.
Gerard.
Yeah. So I would have asked him. I would have asked him immediately. Did you? Did you, as a radio host that's supposed to be a journalist, that's supposed to be neutral, did you go for it? Because honestly, to tell you the truth, I really think that recall issue stemmed from his show.
Okay.
That's where it came from.
Okay. And I agree 100%, Gerard. But my point is that tying Oliver with the mayor, where does that come from? I mean, Oliver has nothing to do with the mayor. The mayor was elected, like you said, as a city official by the people. So therefore, Oliver, I think, came in her second term. Am I correct? And what does Oliver have to do with anything? This is almost like the Troy Hendry situation. Once again, with WWL, announcing like as if, with Cantrell and this and that, and Troy's tied up with Oliver. And I'm like, so if he is tied up with Oliver, what's wrong with that?
There's a level of pettiness.
Doesn't have a connection.
There's a level of pettiness that comes out, and there's a level of politics that comes out. There's also a level of stupidity that comes out. And all of that mixed together, you got a whole bowl full of stuff. That's that stuff.
So last but not least, Gerard, I'm gonna let y'all go. What I took for is that this man is announcing that he's running for mayor of New Orleans. He's been a part of the city. I'm pro Oliver. I mean, I'm voting for him. My point is that stop trying to tie him in with Troy and Mayor Cantrell. That has nothing to do with Oliver, like you just said. Oliver Thomas is his own man, and he's been like that. I've been knowing Oliver for years. He's always been his own man.
Yeah. Yep. And nothing wrong with that. All right. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
What's wrong with us? I mean, we to the point now where we just, we like crap. And that's what we put out here, crap. So I could do a whole bunch if I wanted to right now on some of those candidates.
Do you want to?
No.
Oh.
I really don't. But they're gonna push me to.
I want to hear it, but
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay. Commercial break, maybe?
Sure.
Okay. We'll talk about it.
Because it's low down.
Mm-hmm.
It's low down.
And I know you know the business.
Oh, baby. Yeah, we know the business. A lot of people know the business. They just scared to say it. They just really scared to say it. I mean, even where there's some people that may have gotten into harm's way. Mr. Elmo.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good.
All right.
The thing that really, I wouldn't want to say upset me because I'm a little smaller to let something upset me every time I hear somebody I don't necessarily like. I hate when I listen to another station, which I don't want to even mention the name, bore you with the name, and nothing about the station says nothing positive about my city or my leaders. Nothing positive at all. And what tripped me out, I like to listen to other stations because I try to get another viewpoint because it's good when you listen. I don't keep myself in tune to one view. I try to listen, even though I may not necessarily like what they're saying. And I heard him say like, we need to do, and I'm saying nothing about what he says. Please forgive me not mentioning his name. It has nothing about having any type of love for the city whatsoever. I'm a New Orleanesian, I guess you follow me, and live here before Katrina and after Katrina. And I'm proud to be a New Orleanian, but I'm proud to say I'm a New Orleans Easterner. You follow what I'm saying? And I'm being honest, I'm very glad that Oliver took that position to run for mayor. And I'm going to be very specific with you. I think he's qualified. He's a gentleman. He's a scholar. He's passionate about his people. And I think he's not just passionate about Afro-American people. I think he's passionate about people across the board. So that's why I'm glad that he's running. And I think if he had the opportunity, if the people give him the opportunity, I think he could do quite well.
So there's a reason why I know I can't run for an office. And because I think the first thing is because I'm ignorant.
Okay.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
All right.
You're talking to somebody who knows better.
Yeah. So, and there's no perfect person. Oliver has come to grips with what he did and has made sure that everybody understands I made a mistake. And hopefully everybody understands that me running now, this is redemption. So this is redemption, redemption, redemption. That's what he's preaching. So did we ever hear from the people that's talking bad about Oliver, and I'm talking about this morning, did we ever hear why the most powerful man in the parish of Jefferson Parish as the tax collector and law enforcement stepped down from that powerful position to become a radio host? Do you know? Because he didn't share it. So don't throw no stones when you're living in a glass house. That's why I said I can't run for nothing. Because I would have said, if you're trying to connect me because I had this issue, because what I understand is you may have had the same issue. That's why you had to step down from your powerful position to become a radio host.
Well, can I say this?
Dang, G.
Gerard.
Yes, sir.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Please do.
First, young lady, it's a pleasure talking to you. You give a lot of wisdom and understanding of what we're discussing.
Thank you.
First, look, it's a funny thing that we're talking about this. Before I even listened to you, Gerard, I was talking to my son about the same exactly thing about being a man. Understand you make wrong choices, but wrong choices. Let me tell you something. I'm not a perfect. I'm never was perfect. Will never be. But one thing I learned by myself as I got mature to understand that God gave us a lot of sensors to understand when we make a wrong choice. And when we make that wrong choice, we ask to be forgiven based on what we did. And it's a learning process to say, you know what, this is going to make me a better man, a better person, a better coworker, a better friend, uncle, dad, what have you. And I think once I lived that life, an understanding, I ain't perfect. I always might make a wrong choice. But it's a growing process to understand. That's how we learn, Jerome. No matter how old you are, you might make a wrong choice. But I hate when people. Listen to what you just said. I hate when people, regardless of their culture, race, religion, gender, they holy and also thou. And I don't like that because you try to put me yourself on a pedestal, and you're looking down. I don't look down on anybody or up anybody, but I say be a man. Always understand. I'm always gonna love you because you made the wrong choice. Because I make wrong choices too. You understand, brother?
Everybody does. I mean, there is no perfect person.
Yes, sir.
But if you're going to question, after I have made myself publicly clear what has happened to me, this is what I did. I did it wrong, and I did my time. I paid my dues. I've been straight on the narrow since that time. And now you want to bring it up again because I'm running for office. Well, I need to know something. If you have the audacity to ask me that again, I'm going to have the audacity to ask you about your situation. Don't throw no stones if you living in the glass. That's
and I agree with you.
Today.
Well, and I was going to say something crazy.
Go ahead.
No, because this is the same reason why I don't run for office, because I can say some crazy stuff too. But I mean, you have who as the president of the United States.
Right.
Now, you all actually believe people could be redeemed that haven't even asked for redemption. That haven't even asked for redemption. We have a felon inside of a 34 count felon, right? Convicted rapist or sexual assaultist, or I mean, we could go through so many different ways that man has broken the law and continues to break the law now under presidential immunity. Okay, but just to say that if you have someone who is locally, like you say, running on redemption, that we know is grounded in the community, that we know does the work and is willing to have the spotlight on them and has the support of so many people, man, we can't allow somebody to just put their mouth on him like that and just dog. You know what I mean? Like who should even believe it? You know, they're coming after our votes and they're trying to sow doubt in the people who we could have confidence in.
And the worst part about it is some of us are playing right up in that game too. So, Mr. Elmore, we got to take our break.
Thank you, Gerald.
Appreciate you again.
All right, brother.
All righty.
Thank you.
More coming up. Cedric, hold on. More coming up next.
Hi, I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happens only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's Elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
WBOK and LCMC Health are proud to present Keeping You Well Cafe, 60 Minutes with LCMC Health, where the doctors speak directly to the people of New Orleans. LCMC Health is committed to improving the quality of care here in New Orleans, the Gulf South, and beyond. The Keeping You Well Cafe is another way for LCMC Health to engage with the community. At the Keeping You Well Cafe, LCMC Health joins WBOK and local businesses to answer your questions about wellness and health.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 12:30 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
In recognition of Women's History Month, WBOK 12:30 a.m. presents Her Story Spotlight, honoring extraordinary women whose achievements have redefined what's possible.
March is Women's History Month, a month dedicated to recognizing and celebrating the contributions of women to our society. This is Kimber White Dupree, sharing information about Dorothy May Taylor. Dorothy May de Lavallade Taylor was an educator and politician in New Orleans, the first African-American woman to be elected to serve in the Louisiana House of Representatives. From 1971 to 1980, she represented District 20, since renumbered in her native New Orleans. She had started her career as a teacher in the Head Start program, designed to benefit children in their early years. She was also active in civil rights in the 1950s and 1960s, gaining more resources for facilities for African Americans in the city. She worked in issues of healthcare, childcare, racial discrimination, and inhumane conditions in state prisons. As director of the Central City Neighborhood Health Clinic from 1980, she also worked to develop African American leaders among her staff and mentored a number of future politicians in the state. In 1984, she was appointed by Governor Edwin Edwards as head of state of the Department of Urban and Community Affairs, becoming the first African American woman to hold a cabinet position. Taylor began her career in public service in the Parent-Teacher Association, demanding equal supplies and funding for African American children from the Orleans Parish School Board. She was vital to the desegregation of New Orleans Recreation Department, as well as other voter registrations. Ms. Taylor's most memorable contribution was to have authored an ordinance insisting that all Mardi Gras crews stop discriminating and institute an open admission policy for anyone seeking to join their organizations if they chose to use the city services to hold their parades. The reaction to this ordinance was swift and downright vicious. Old Line crews threatened to end Mardi Gras by refusing to parade rate if this ordinance was enforced. Ms. Taylor held public hearings that forced the club members to answer questions that they didn't even ask in private. Dorothy May Taylor, a woman of influence, a woman of power, a woman in history.
WBOK 1230 AM celebrates Women's History Month and the visionaries and innovators who broke barriers and paved the way for generations to come.
If someone asks, let them know you listen to WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Let somebody know that we are on the radio. It is the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, Tessie Chocolate. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Dr. Shepard. Woo, woo, woo. Hercules. We also got Sid. Sid, what's happening with you?
Hello, Gerard. Hello, Dr. Shepard.
What's going on?
Gerard, I wish you would let us know a new set schedule, or maybe you don't know. I tell you, I'm getting to the point where I don't care who gets mad at me for saying what I'm about to say, as long as I know that I am being transparent and truthful. I too am not perfect. Matter of fact, I just dealt with a DUI from a state trooper. Now, whether he handled me right or wrong, which some of it he handled me wrong, because of my action, there was a reaction. So I can't talk about Oliver Thomas. I can't talk about no one else for making a mistake. But let me ask you this. Why aren't they talking about when the other mayor candidate was a news reporter? She hit somebody, left the scene, and they were killed.
But wait, who?
Yep. You are
Elena Moreno.
Mm-hmm.
Now, y'all, you know what? Once again, I don't care.
What?
So why we're not talking about that? You know, why we're not talking about that? And to all these black Negroes, that's about to sell their souls to her.
Did you say about?
And you're not thinking about. No, please let me get this out. And if you ban me from calling again, fine.
I don't think that's about to happen. I think you're okay.
To all these black people who are about to sell their souls out, and you're not looking at the big picture. You're not seeing what's happening at the federal level. You're not seeing what's happening at the state level. And then you're about to pledge your allegiance to someone other than someone who looks like you. Well, then whoever endorses her, why should we support you when you run for re-election? So to our congressperson, to our district attorney, to whoever, why should we support you if you're not supporting someone that looks like you? I thought you all were talking about J.P. Morrell come out with a video talking about OT this morning.
He did.
This dude blatantly does not have respect, in my opinion, for black women, and he came from one. It seems like there are two brothers in this city that just love white women. And one of them has an extra hard on for the mayor. Am I saying the mayor's always right? No, I'm not. But you don't have to be so disrespectful when you're disagreeing with her. How would you like it if someone was disrespectful to your mom or to your wife? To the clergy, where in the world are y'all? All of y'all clergy. To you pastors that's behind the police chief and her pony. Where are y'all? Her miniature pony.
Not the miniature pony.
So we, the ordinary people, where are we? You got 4 amendments that you need to vote no to. Because the state government doesn't need no more control to be able to dictate to you and your children. We got over 40,000 students in these whatever kind of school systems we have. Where are the parents and guardians of these 40,000 students. We are the dead walking. Before you know it, we'll be second lining on a plantation near you.
Mm-hmm.
Partying has a purpose. Partying is good, but we're not doing what we need to do to ensure a better life for our children and us.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, and thank you all for letting me get this out, any black organization, any black person that takes money from certain people, I'm going to make sure it gets out.
Well, you
and I will be working with the president of the NAACP here in New Orleans.
You did what? Say that
I
again.
will be working with the president, with the NAACP of New Orleans to make sure the people know who's getting funded, because you know Helena Moreno has about $1 million war chest from $800,000 to $1 million. So I'm sure a lot of black people are going to be bought and sold.
Well, you
It's
better
been
start,
done in
'cause
the
they done already
past.
started.
And I'm saying this in particular. And anybody come for me, I am covered by the blood of Jesus.
Amen.
Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thank you, Sid. They done already started taking that money.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they already started taking the money, because first thing they do is start calling me. Gerard, let me let you know I'm not with him. I'm going to tell you this happens and this happens. I'm like, oh, Lord, here we go. Same old, same old. Don't call me no other time of the year. But when the election comes, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing.
They want to be on the spot.
Yeah.
They want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
But we don't see them at the events that we be at.
No,
or else
none of them.
we would just know what they doing.
Don't give a damn about the community.
I see Oliver Thomas at every
Everything.
single event I go to.
Oliver and I just walked together Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday? I think it was Thursday or Friday. Out in the east off of Bullard, they had the Fannie Williams school. We did the parade together. So he walked it. He walked the whole parade. All the way down Bullard and back around again. So, and that's not including the event that he had on the West Bank, where he had hundreds of black women that showed up for his event over at the Vault. So I'm like,
Grounded in the community.
And what I found out in New Orleans is that you have to show up for a lot of stuff. The people of your community have got to be able to see you.
Right.
Because if you stay in those four walls, they're going to tell you, I don't know you. I don't ever see you at nothing. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Now, the question has been, and I think this is interesting, what has he done? What has he done? Okay.
Can I give one?
Wait, before you do that.
Okay.
What has Elena done? What has Judge done? What has, what's her name done? What have they done? Are we just asking one person? What have all of them done? Not only that, you were there 7 years before Oliver was even on the council. What did you do in those 7 years? And the question has been about Oliver being a radio host over here. Well, I think that a lot of people forget that the person that y'all are telling me is that you're with was a TV host over Channel 6. I'm not doing this intentionally to make her sound bad. I'm saying, what's the difference? She was a TV host. She was a news reporter at Channel 6. So what's the difference? Because Oliver did a morning show. I trained him.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm proud of that. Because he ended up being very good that people could get the information from.
Right.
I had nothing to do with the TV station over there with Helena. But she was a news reporter before she ran for, what was that, 96? District 96? Avery Alexander's district. Oh, wasn't supposed to say that. That was a district that was developed especially for black people, because they did not have representation.
Oh.
News coming up.
Look how you hit the commercial with that one.
He's so funny. More coming up, folks. Everybody hold tight.
From the campus of Xavier University.
Look.
WBOK 1230 AM.
Go.
An Equity Media Station.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy is marking the 50th anniversary of the historic Mount Laurel ruling, which required towns to provide fair, affordable housing. The 1975 decision ended decades of residential segregation and is often compared to Brown versus Board of Education. The Virginia Community College System Board voted to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs following a Trump executive order. 2 diversity initiatives and the DEI Advisory Council were eliminated. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, despite low poll ratings, is likening himself to the late Mayor Harold Washington. He's highlighting reopened mental health clinics, affordable housing, and 29,000 summer jobs while courting black voter support through his Faith in Government initiative. An 88-year-old Pope Francis, a longtime advocate for black Catholics fighting discrimination, has returned to the Vatican after being released from the hospital this weekend. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Getting ready for the second hour. The second hour of the conversation on today. Why you got your hand over here?
I'm sorry. They got news about Nazis on TV.
I saw you with your hand over. I was like, oh Lord, did something happen?
Man, what hasn't been happening nationally?
Dr. Shepard's with us. Dr. Shepard is with us. So.
Hello, everyone.
What happened?
I was looking at combating the deportations where the judge did the ruling, but Trump already had them on a plane ready to go.
Right.
And they're arguing that because they were in international waters, that the judge's ruling doesn't apply to the plane. Like, it's so much. I just saw that they had a detention center that was supposed to have 500 people in it that has like 1,400 people in it.
Is that Venezuela?
No, it's the Coma facility. It's someplace here, and they're supposed to be being routed out of it, and they haven't had due process. Now, let me get my facts straight, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, they have not done due process, so your facts are
they're
correct.
not doing due process for those
just
people,
deporting them.
and they're saying that they're not, they shouldn't be privy to
but
due
they're saying,
process.
But they're also saying that they are not gang members to some of them.
Some of them, right.
So I'm like, how do you deport somebody when they are not doing anything wrong? Oh, you living in the Trump world. And the Trump czar, to me, is one of those that's like, they don't give a damn. You look a certain way, you out of here.
If you say a certain thing,
you out of here.
You out of here.
Now, they've come up with something else, too. I think this is in either, I think it's Oklahoma, that if you are driving an 18-wheeler and you get pulled over by a cop, that they break out this card and give you the card, and you have to read it to them. And if you can't read it to them, they arrest you on the spot.
Wait, hold on, G. I hadn't heard about this one. Hold on. Wait a second. I'm processing it.
Yep.
It's a literacy test or a pronunciation test?
A literacy and pronunciation. How you saying?
You got to read to be able to be it?
To be able to move on and go on your way? Or they take you out the truck?
So many citizens are going to fail.
So if it's a literacy test, we all going to jail.
What do you mean? Right?
See the cat run. Up. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Why I read it, that's not what it said.
This is terrible.
So you know that's gonna be interesting. So yeah, that happens. Pop Jones.
Hey, G-Man.
What's going on with
Dr. Shepard.
Hey, Pop, what's going on?
Oh, everything and nothing.
Heard that.
Glad to hear your voice.
Thank you. Same here.
Yeah. G-Man.
Yes, sir.
Were you here? I was surprised. I didn't recall, I guess I do, that she had Avery Alexander, District 96.
Yes, sir. I was here.
You were here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you recall any things that she was doing for black? What was she running in as a Latino, huh?
That's a good question. I don't know. I didn't pay attention
Yeah,
to that
she
part.
she wasn't running white.
That part I didn't pay attention to at the time. So maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
I asked a hard question.
Well, look, I don't think that she's a bad person. I really don't. I just don't like the inequity of how this is being perceived by her, by the people that are pushing her. Like,
yeah, right.
Like I got on my halo. I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody has issues. Why are we captivated so much on issues for one person, but we're not talking about issues with everybody? So if we're going to talk issues, let's talk issues with everybody.
Well, my point was, I haven't heard anything that she's done for the black communities since how long she been, vice president or president of the council?
Both. She's been both, and 7 years.
Yeah, and I haven't heard anything that she's done for the black community since she's decided. She's been criticizing the mayor not doing this, the mayor not. But I haven't heard, what's her record?
That's a good question. Maybe we have to call her and ask her.
Yeah. She'd come on and give her record. All I've heard her do is talk about the mayor since she decided to run for mayor. Because she can't run no more after she get out of this.
Well, the rules of politics will always tell you, always hit the one that's in office right now and probably in a situation where she can't defend herself. What's she gonna say? I can't run again.
Why don't you let her come on a station since she running for mayor and let her be questioned? Let her tell about her record.
That might be a good idea. I just got to do the
I
homework
think it would be a very good idea. Well, all right, G-Man. Thanks for taking so much going on, man. But I'm going to just give somebody else a chance to get in.
Good enough.
Thank you very much. All right, y'all have a blessed one.
You too. So what you think? I just see the inequities of how this is being promoted. Now, some folks will tell you, and I'm going to speak for I don't know the Oliver Thomas campaign camp. I don't know them. And the reason why I don't know them is because I don't need to know them right now. I don't know the Helena Moreno camp. I don't need to know them. I don't know the Judge Arthur Hunter camp. I don't need to know them. Who are the most serious of all the candidates that we're hearing so far? I think is going to be Helena, Oliver, and Judge Hunter. Now, I like Judge Hunter too. I've known Judge Hunter for years. But that quietness, to me, is a problem. Because Judge Hunter been out there in the community to do stuff for black folks. He's been doing it, and hell, been on the bench for 20-some years doing it. But that quietness is, I think, in my own personal opinion, when you're talking politics, when you're quiet, you're not winning. You got to toot your horn.
Yeah, you got to make a lot of noise.
You got to toot that thing, baby. You got to make it sound like it's a ship that done lost its steering. You better get on the horn because this is going to go by quick. You know, we're talking about October as a primary. Then you got the runoffs in November. But I'm telling you right now, people got amnesia around here real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Oh, baby, they got amnesia real quick, fast.
Yeah, they need some being reminded of.
Right.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't know about
I'm surprised you ain't know that one.
the killer car accident.
The killer car. Well, you don't remember what that? No, let me see. Do you remember when?
I wasn't. I don't think I was here at the time.
You
That's
may not
why
have been.
I wasn't here at the time. Maybe that I didn't know that. I'm still in shock because that would require a different level of boldness.
Mm.
And then also, what don't people like that go to jail?
Not when you got Rich Daddy. And you got Rita Benson. Oh, I ain't supposed to say that.
I think he wasn't supposed to say that on the microphone.
I didn't say Rita Benson had nothing. I did not say that she was
Right.
dating Rita Benson at the time. I didn't say that.
I
wrong?
am still in shock. That's all I can say. All I can say, I did not know that. And to say that we're talking about,
The opposition research in this is going to be interesting.
that as Oliver Thomas is talking about redemption, that means that he did a societal harm. He went and he paid his debt to society, came back out, got back on top in city council, and goes all throughout the community at all of the events. I saw him hold it down. I always say when I'm talking about Ann Kirkpatrick, he was the only person with enough backbone to vote against her coming inside of the New Orleans Police Department, which means that he was for Wood Fork and the record that she had and wanted to guard that. I think that that's important because it talks about policing this entire city. Perhaps it would have made a difference had the rest of city council swung, because maybe we wouldn't have had the cheating scandal and the wrong people promoted, right? There's so many fallouts. What happened at Bourbon Street. So I felt like he was willing to stand in the gap for a space that we needed protection in.
Mm-hmm.
And other people on the council fell. And we could see the ramifications of what that was, right? So it means that in other ways, he hasn't been bought and
She
sold.
won't speak to me no more.
In other ways, he hasn't been bought and sold as other folk. And you're going to put that up against somebody who committed vehicular homicide is what you're trying to allegedly. Maybe I got to say allegedly because we're on the radio. But like, I didn't know all of that. And maybe those are I'm glad that Shed called and
I mean,
and
that was said. That Shed brought it all up.
and said that so that it could be brought to the light. So
But okay.
shout out to him for that.
So my question is, and I don't know the entire situation, which from led to her hitting someone, if that's the question that everybody has, to the person dying, and what happened after.
She didn't go to jail.
But my point is, if this happened, I'm gonna say allegedly, then there's a level of redemption there because nobody brings it up. Nobody talks about it.
That's my point.
And I'm trying to figure out, why is it so bad with Oliver? Well, Lord, we got to talk about the crook. The crook. Oh, he went to jail. He did this. Wait a minute. What's the difference?
Well, he's black. The hypervisibility of black people.
Mhm.
And then everyone wants to erode away trust in black politicians, which, I mean, that's just there. Every time that we have black politicians, people want to dig in and do the investigations behind them and put them underneath a magnifying glass and a microscope. And they don't do that with white officials. And we know that they're playing the same political games in the background. They have the same, if not deeper, connections, nepotism, kickbacks, crimes, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But they are under less scrutiny.
Less scrutiny.
They are the white politicians are under less scrutiny. And I say white and those who pass as white.
All right. Let me get off of that one. Let's go to the interview that happened today, this morning, with Newell and Oliver.
Yes.
And all those questions that were coming up. And I was sitting there saying to myself, let's go ahead on and ask Newell the question too, because Oliver has made his redemption. He said, I messed up. told everybody what he did his time, came back, and said, now this election for me is redemption.
But it's not just that he did that and came back. He sat on city council.
Right.
So like he's already gotten the support to be able to put him in office to stand in the gap for people.
Yep.
Okay. So
all right. With that being said,
yes.
See, that's why I said I couldn't run for an office because I would immediately turned it back around and said, come on, Nu. You're trying to tell me that your partner in a other business, not in law enforcement, but he was in law enforcement too. It was a captain, got arrested by the feds for doing something illegal. And I'm saying that's your partner. You didn't get arrested, but you had to step down. And you're telling me that you stepped down because you wanted to leave the most powerful position other than Jefferson Parish, the Lee position as the president of the parish. You're the second, which could be discussed in some realm, to be the first as the parish most professional or powerful person. Because you not only are the law enforcement, you're also the tax collector. And you left that job to become a radio host at an AM radio station. Because you said that's what you just want to do. And nobody has questioned you at all. And you haven't answered any of the questions of the people asking, bruh, why you left that position to become a midday radio host? How dare you to ask me these questions when you have questions as a public official or a former public official, and you didn't answer the question to these folks? You were elected as well. You just didn't stumble up on that job. You were elected by those folks.
And left the position once his partner got busted?
To become a radio host.
That's interesting. Let me just say, though, G, this is why you would make a good politician.
No.
You want to make it sound like that's why you wouldn't, but this is why you would make a good one.
Let me make myself perfectly clear to everybody. Anybody that has listened to me for a certain period of time, I don't dislike him. He used to come over here. He used to come over here and do the show. We used to get to arguing on the air. This is when he was the sheriff of Jefferson Parish. He used to come over here at least once a month and sit down in the morning times because I used to question him about some of the things his deputies would do. And, you know, who am I? He would turn red as a beet because he was mad as hell at me. Cuss on the air and everything. But at the end of the day, he said, I'll see you later, G. Like, see you later, Sheriff. If you listen to that show, they don't call him Nu. They call him Sheriff. Because that's what he was. You're trying to tell me you gave up that to become a radio talk show host.
At the same time that his partner
went to jail. Who was also in law enforcement. What'd that sound like? Somebody got to skate? Somebody got some skates? We're going to let you go. But you should know. So if you're going to question one about this is what happened to me, and we want to down somebody that has made it clear, told the truth, did what he's supposed to do, and said, hey, I'm sorry, folks, but I need y'all to know I'm another person, and this is who I am now. This is redemption for me. And you have not explained to the people that listen to your show, the people that were counting on you as the head law enforcement person for that parish, and you ain't explained jack. That ain't even. That's privilege. That's privilege.
Oh, yes.
The black man has got to daggone do a song and dance and make sure that his taps are on so that he can go out there and do his Uncle Charlie. the white man in this can question you and ask you what's wrong with you, but nobody's asking him what's wrong with him. Ever. And this didn't happen yesterday. This happened many years ago. This was like at least 3 to 5 years ago. And nobody has come forward. That's why I couldn't do the interview. If I run for office and you ask me about mine, damn it, I'm going to ask you about yours. That's only fair.
It is.
That's why.
That's why you should run.
I should not run. We got more coming up. Miss Jones, hold on. We got more coming up next.
That's right. It's party time each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on WBOK. It's the Throwback Throwdown with DJ Wick as he brings you the best in old school from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2Ks. Plus, the party goes to another level at 9 p.m. with the Throwback Throwdown Party Mix to round out the night. It's the Throwback Throwdown Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Connect with NOLA Public Schools. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X for the latest updates. Sign up for District Digest, our official newsletter where we share district achievements, celebrate student successes, and keep you informed about our vision of providing a high-quality education. And don't miss our school board meetings. Watch in person or live stream on YouTube. Stay informed, stay engaged. Visit NOLAPublicSchools.com today. Again, that's NOLAPublicSchools.com.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Welcome to The Community Scientist. I'm excited to bring you our quarterly review of the latest research. If you live or work in St. James, St. John's, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard parishes, it's vital that you have access to clear, objective information about lead, hexavalent chromium, and cadmium, and how these substances impact your health and our natural environment. The Community Scientist is a service program of Rise St. James, supported by our dedicated TCS research team. To learn more, visit risestjames.org.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Oh my goodness.
I wish you could have seen your face.
You get me today. I can't lie.
Yeah, your face went like, what? What? You look like Lil Jon.
What?
Hey, Miss Jones.
Yes, good afternoon to you all and to the listening audience.
What you got?
One quick comment. Oliver Thomas was very apologetic and remorseful. People are forgetting about that.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would tell you, kiss where there's no sunshine. And that vehicular incident, if I could remember correctly, it was back in 1998, sometime in the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to pull and do the research.
I mean, all of Miss Jones, I'm being honest as I possibly can on this issue, because I think that there are a lot of folks that are going to end up being judgmental on the issue, but there are a lot of folks that are sitting in high places that I'm saying, wait a minute, but what about you? You know?
That's saying.
We could have that conversation about her. We can have that conversation about Newell Norman. We can have that conversation about Surpass. We can have that conversation even about the former U.S. attorney who had to resign as a disgraced U.S. attorney.
Yes.
Because his whole crew was doing something illegal.
Yes.
So I'm looking around and saying to myself, this privilege of not being able to talk about you should be the same if you're going to do that to Oliver. So watch how you throw the rock when you're living in a glass house.
Be very careful.
Because you could end up being you could end up trying to bring up a conversation, and that conversation turn back around on you.
Uh-huh. Exactly. But if I recall, it was 1998.
Mm-hmm. And holding down Avery Alexander's district. District 96 as a state rep.
All those other folks have never apologized, so they better be very cautious.
Yep.
What they're saying. This man was apologetic. He was very remorseful. You could see the heartbreak.
Well, he took the high road.
Yep.
And who was standing there with him from, let me see. There are a lot of folks that stood there with Oliver that day that they had a press conference, and he was standing there. He was about to cry.
He was. I remember that.
Yep.
Just very remorseful. Anybody else, they cover it up. Be careful where you pull dirt at.
Yep.
Pull dirt and dig a hole. You better dig one for yourself.
Yep. So, all right, Ms.
So
Jones.
You need to get out there and for this voting, call your friends. I'm hearing people, they have a voting. Yes, you better get out there.
Yep.
You will diligently for Carnival. Don't give you a penny.
There you go. Thank you, my dear. Appreciate you much.
Appreciate you too.
Bye-bye. So, are you're like blown away?
The statute of limitations for murder, they don't have one.
No.
Gee, you can always be arrested for having committed a murder.
Yeah. Forever.
I'm just surprised. That's all. I'm just shocked. I didn't know that you could have somebody who may have, let me cover myself, done something like that, who is then still paraded in front of the city and able to become a public official. I didn't know that.
So let me read this story to you. There's a
Is it the story that I'm questioning about? Are you digging in the archives to go all the way back? Because I really need
I'm not going
to
back.
understand more.
So there's a story in NOLA.com this week. It's actually dated March 23rd, which is yesterday. It says 7 months to go. Is the field for New Orleans mayor all about decided? Some say yes. One city council member led her colleagues through a period of deepening tension with New Orleans' current mayor and calls herself the face of change. Okay? You heard me on that. She's calling herself the face of change. I want you to keep that in your notes.
I'm gonna write that down. The face of change.
Another once tarnished by scandal. Okay.
Who wrote this article?
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to tell you. I'm putting this in perspective for you. All right. It says another once tarnished by scandal earned a second chance with voters and says he'll lead New Orleans to a comeback. Toss in a retired criminal court judge and indicted ex-911 call center manager and a few underdogs. And these seem to be the choices New Orleanians will weigh when they head to the polls in October to select their next mayor. So, out of all of this that you're talking about a criminal court judge retired. You're talking about someone you called and said is tarnished, a tarnished scandal. You didn't say a former city council person, a former at-large person. You didn't say a former radio host. You just said tarnished by scandal.
They didn't say a possible vehicular homicide.
They didn't say nothing about her. They said that she was calling herself the face of change. That's it. They didn't say anything about vehicular homicide, nothing at all. tossing a retired criminal court judge, and then a whole bunch of other underdogs, and an indicted ex-911 call center manager. You know that's terror. What's his name, Terrell? So, out of this article, I really don't need to go any further in it, because when I looked at it, I said to myself, Oliver, Helena, Terrell, Judge, and all the other folks, out of all of them, there's only one that you said something positive about.
Who wrote the piece? Who's the author?
This was written by James Finn, a staff writer.
James Finn.
Right.
Is that, and you said that's NOLA.com.
Uh-huh. So I really feel that there's somewhere been a meeting to round up and gather all the talking heads to speak volumes about one person and destruction on the rest of them.
Was you invited to the meeting?
Absolutely not.
I wasn't invited to the meeting.
Me neither. But I do think that somebody chaired that meeting. A whole lot more powerful than me and you.
More powerful than you, G?
Yeah, I ain't powerful at all. But I do think that somebody chaired that meeting. And I've noticed that in the elections prior, that the paper always gets involved in these elections by putting out stories that are negative. Because this ain't gonna be the only one. This ain't gonna be. This is the first negative story. There's more to come.
Right.
So I'm saying this to all of the so-called underdogs, the judge. I'm gonna tell Oliver. I'm gonna tell all of them. Make sure you got your big boy draws on, because it's coming. This is just the start, and words cut you. And that opposition research is gonna be terrible, because they're gonna list all your inconsistencies, and they're gonna make sure that all those inconsistencies make you look like the worst person in the world. So just get ready. Hey, Ron.
What's going on, Charles, man?
What's happening?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? Oh, man. First, shouts out to the Fatherhood Round Table, as well as the People's Political Party. Boy, this show is on fire today. I got a question. I know them comments and club comments is going crazy now, boy.
The what?
But, the comments from on the live
stream.
I know it's popping up in there today. I know it is. But I want to know, is it safe to say the only reason why that situation happened with Oliver because he didn't turn on Mark Morial when they thought they had Mark Morial?
Oh, you really going there? You really going there, huh?
I just want to, throw that out there. That's all, But as it relates to NOLA.com has become the new Tom's Pick on You, a.k.a. Tom's Pick on You. And our people will never get a fair shake when it comes to that. I mean, it shows. So all I'm going to say is that, I just hope our people don't fall for the okie doke. And like you say, keep y'all big draws on because they're going to come harder than this. But just remember, the only reason why Oliver went down because he did not turn coattail on Mark Morial. And I'm going to hang up and leave it right there.
I got you. All right. Hey, Ron, how you doing, bro? How the family?
Everybody all right, one day at a time.
One day at a time. All right, we love you.
One day at a time, brother. Straight up. Love y'all too.
All right, brother.
Peace.
All right, Mr. Bill.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
How you doing,
Good afternoon.
Oh, Fat Midland. The last comment about the gentleman, if I can't get him, I'm going to get you type situation. I recall that. But I'm an avid listener to news and so forth, local news at that time. But I don't recall a damn thing about this Helena Moreno situation that was brought up. what year did this take place?
Miss Jones said it was 98. So.
Hold up.
You found it.
Because I was looking it up. I see.
What you got? What you got?
I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong. When I Google it, stories start coming up from 2010. Oh, was a 2002 traffic accident with one fatality in which candidate Helena Morena had been involved but not cited. That's a story. Oh, the story, it came up again in 2010. The traffic accident happened in 2002. Okay, I'm doing my research on the fly, but just saying.
On the fly. Okay. That's awfully strange. Awfully strange. But we know how they work. We know the proceeds of it and whatnot. Till lately, I haven't been paying that much attention to local news because there's so much happening nationally.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be terribly detrimental to the whole nation, let alone just our local situation. So, and hell, as far as ever since Damon Singleton was unceremoniously dismissed, I haven't watched a single full WDSU newscast since. I'm just there, man. It's all disgraceful.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Politics 101.
Well, I'm aware of it. For instance, like when I was in the military, some of the playboys from other places, they told me, you look like you could be Puerto Rican. I don't know what that's supposed to be like, but I don't have any tattoos, so I shouldn't have any difficulty if I'm stopped. So,
yes,
all of the gentlemen that they're rounding up have tattoos, regardless of what they are. You're a gang member,
right? Yep.
Committing crime and stuff. I've been listening, and you've changed your hours, and it's a bit different, and so forth. But I'm just listening, man.
Yeah, I got you. All right, Mr. Bill.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right, T-Bone.
Good evening, y'all. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
What's up, Wick? Thanks for letting me through. I'm still going to drop that PSA. I still want to hear some sports on this station. I'm going to keep saying it until y'all hear me. Anyway, back to the lecture at hand. Let me say this. Since y'all went and put Captain Trump in,
what?
Here's some more medicine for y'all. I don't care if either of these candidates have a record. I don't care what dirt you dig up on them. Here's how you're going to get my vote. Take notes. A realistic economic plan that does not just involve tourism for this city. Number one. Number two, a real overhaul for the education system in this city. Number three, something to change the business aspects in terms of bringing businesses into the city, in terms of bringing real jobs. Because CG opened up his broadcast talking about how they doing something way out in the sticks. They ain't going to ever make it to New Orleans. I drove past New Orleans East over the weekend to go fishing. It's horrible that they have all of that area just sitting there and you got wildlife back there. Now, I know Bayou Phoenix is coming, but we need more. We need more to develop this city, to bring more jobs. So you just talk about 5,000 jobs out there at Donaldsonville. But that's not here. We can do more. And if you really want my vote as mayor, you're going to listen to those 3 points of my agenda. That's my word.
Gotcha.
Mic drop.
All right, T-Bone.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Harold.
Yes, I said I'm kind of black, so I should call this black radio station today, especially since Dr. Shepard is on.
You ain't called me at all. You ain't called me at all for the last 2 weeks. As soon as Dr. Shepard get on, you got your eyesight back so you can see them numbers that you're dialing, huh?
I'm in the West Valley of Los Angeles, and it's 91 degrees. And you know, Los Angeles proper has its own weather, and it never gets to 91 degrees. But anyway, I wanted to remind your listeners that Wednesday is a holiday, so they can get their Zelle information and all together.
That's right.
And
say it again. Say it again so they can hear you. Say it again so they can hear you.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Wednesday is the holiday, and I'll never forget it because one of my brothers, his birthday is there. And then on the 31st of this month, I have an aunt here. She's turning 101. So we have two left. One in Houston, she's 105, and she's not in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So anyway, I said I got to call them today. Life is good. It's good. It's been good for me, and it's good now. And I call your show to something I might say that will help somebody to live better. Everybody doesn't want to live a good life, but there are some that do and don't know what to do. So anyway, we're getting ready. The first two permits have been issued to build new houses in the burnt area. Now there are thousands that this process has to go through, but two are getting ready to start building. So anyway, I thought I would holler at you, and I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay.
So it's always good to hear you.
Same here.
You're one of my. I told you, you're one of my favorite colored people.
There you go. All right, Mr. Harold.
Thank you, Mr. Harold.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
All right, Doctor.
All right, Josh.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, brother. What's happening?
Hey, things saying McCall. They're acting like Oliver fleeced New Orleans for a lot of money. That 15 he took was just to not look like a snitch. And it's not like he was trying to rape New Orleans for a lot of money when he did do his dirt. Like you said, he redeemed himself.
Yeah.
So
well, I know that he redeemed himself. I know that he has been apologetic from day one that he got out. He even did a play about it. So I don't know what else they want.
I couldn't be a politician, bro. You go back on me, I'm going back to the future on you. I'm going back to when you was in kindergarten, preschool. You're not Jesus. I am not the one to play go high, you go low. I don't know that.
Yes, indeed.
I'm going low. You go low, I'm going to hell. That's what I'm going to do. And apart from Oliver win this is going to be one of the best Tyler Perry movies ever.
Oh, wow.
Ever.
Yes,
I don't know who's going to play Oliver. Probably, I don't know, Rick Fox.
I don't know. He'll figure that part out.
Rick Fox can play Oliver. He can play Oliver. So he should win this. Hopefully, he should win. He's a better choice.
Yeah.
So far,
they're gonna try to dirty him up.
Nah, if I was him, I know he's ready for it, but I just wish he wouldn't play such a nice guy all the time. And I wish he just swing back on them when they do try to do to him. And that's all I want. I just want to have a fight. Anybody that's Democratic right now, you need to be having a fight.
You need to swing on him, bro. You said you. Just said he wanted to swing on him.
Fist balled up. Every election, fist balled up. Listen, call Jasmine Crockett before you go to the election.
Wait a minute. Maybe we need to contact the Mardi Gras Indians so that they have a spy boy, so Oliver can have his own spy boy.
Give him that and some fire water. Let him get there and do his thing, man. Don't try to be nice with these folks. Niceness has gotten us in second place.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There you go.
I just said, listen, knuckle up, go in there with your hands tight.
Knuckle up.
Clench your teeth
and be ready to fight. Don't be all that passive.
Right.
Don't be passive.
All right, Josh.
All.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Appreciate you. All right, we got to take a break. We'll take the break here. We'll come back. We'll have some more conversation in just a minute. George, hold on. We coming back.
AURN News.
I'm Ebony McMorris. Mia Love, who made history as the first Black Republican woman elected to Congress, has died at the age of 49. Love, a daughter of Haitian immigrants, passed away peacefully Sunday at her home in Saratoga Springs, Utah, after battling brain cancer. Surrounded by family in her final moments, Love began her political career in 2003 as she served as city council member and late mayor of Saratoga Springs before becoming a U.S. representative in 2014. Despite a career marked by trailblazing achievements, she was known for her independent voice, notable speaking out against President Trump during the 2016 campaign and in the years that followed. Her family released a statement celebrating her profound impact, noting her unwavering belief in the American dream. Utah Governor Spencer Cox paid tribute, calling her a visionary leader whose legacy would leave lasting positive influence. Love's legacy lives on through her courage, leadership, and commitment to public service. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
You know, it's no surprise that Donald Trump would do the unthinkable. He signed a vile, senseless, hateful executive order to remove the ban on segregation facilities in federal contracts. Yeah, you heard me right. He wants to allow segregation. His executive order means that segregated facilities like restrooms, restaurants, and drinking fountains are okay for federal contractors if they should opt to use the policy. This takes me back to the onerous days of Jim Crow, when there were separate facilities for black and white people. I can personally attest to the hate and cruelty of such a policy. When I was a young child, I was beaten for drinking out of a water fountain designated for whites only. The segregation policy okayed by Trump is limited to federal contractors and is in essence only symbolic. Federal and state law still outlaw discrimination in the country. Even so, the Trump administration's removal of the 1965 ban against segregation in federal contractor facilities is a shot across the bow of civil rights. It is an indication of just how far the Republican president will go in his hateful effort to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion in the federal government and the private sector. In this particular case, the policy only applies to U.S. government contractors, but telling everyone, especially those spending our tax dollars, that it's okay to segregate is not okay. This is an attack on race, though Trump and his GOP allies vehemently deny that their actions are rooted in racism. To that I say to them, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. And tell Donald Trump he can take that apartheid South African racist Elon Musk back to South Africa. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Every Friday at noon on WBOK.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth.
Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
I'm Wendell Pierce. Thanks for making WBOK your station. WBOK, 1230 a.m.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 a.m.
Well, they paid me off with it.
All right, folks. All right. Dr. Shepard in the building.
Hello, everyone.
Gerard Stevens with you. George, you on line one. What you say? George?
Hello. Man, bro, don't get me going, bro. Hello, Dr. Shepard. How you doing?
Hi, George. How you doing today? I'm all right.
I've been missing you, baby. I've been missing you.
Oh,
well, that's what I like to hear.
That's what we talking about. Oh, you know who I got to call after too? You know who else I was missing? One of your number one constituents, bro. The man finally, I heard from Mr. Howell, bro. I'm like, Mr. Howell, all right. Mr. Howell didn't get burnt up in Los Angeles.
Right.
Yeah, it was good to hear his voice. But anyway, bro, you know, last Mardi Gras, right? All them TV cameras was out in the streets interviewing everybody, including Boo Boo the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
There's a larger conspiracy that's going on OG as well. Because there were many of those camera shots, and I was checking the channels every now and then looking at Mardi Gras, right?
Right.
And there was many camera shots where you could clearly see OT right there in the presence of all of those people. And here they out there sticking the microphone in front of everybody's face, including downtown on Napoleon Avenue, showing us where the new white power structure built. Anybody see that when the King Rex passed by there and they hosted and everybody was hosting and all them white people was in the stand, but nobody black up there? And I didn't even see them in the crowd. Real. And there was OT. And all of those microphones that they were sticking in everybody's faces, I said, God daggity dig on dog, because you know that's not the language I use. Anyway, I said, there ain't nobody interviewing OT. All this revelry, all this happiness, all this we glad to see Mardi Gras. Granny was on there talking about how she allowed Mardi Gras to happen. I'm like, good googly woogly, god dang on. Hold on, you allowed Mardi Gras. You know that ain't the language I used. But anyway, I'm like, hey, man, how come they're not interviewing OT? Hey, this is a festive event, and he had stuff he was throwing to the crowd, and even people off the floats was giving him stuff to throw out to the crowd. I'm like, how come they ain't interviewing OT? I said, God dang, googly woogly, good God almighty. And you know that ain't the language I use. I said, this thing is really, this whole media system is geared against him. They know who he is. It ain't like he an unknown quantity. They know who he is. And here he is with the feet of, how you doing, Mr. Oliver Thomas? How's Happy Mardi Gras going? Not even that accolade of just being in the crowd and being a part of the festivities. They all passed him by. One media source after the other. None of them acknowledged him just having a good time with the crowd and walking in the streets of New Orleans, having a fun time.
Right.
None of them. And I was really like, really put back by it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, at first you think it's a mistake. You think it's an oversight. But you have him in camera view. And you totally ignore this brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, look, if I ain't listening to WBOK 12:30 a.m. on my radio, on my cell phone next door at my neighbor house, on the computer, riding in my car, even when the station coming through halfway in and out, I'm still listening. If I ain't listening to George G. Man Stephen with Dr. Shepard, hanging out with Wick in the background, and Wick be doing that thing on Sunday, y'all better be tuning in. I'm going to miss out on an important Black Facts conversation information I need to be hearing, talking about.
Heard that, George. Thank you.
Love y'all. Keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
George. So
yeah, can I want
please.
to, because he said he was talking about how they didn't speak to OT for Mardi Gras, and it brought up in my mind that he did a really good job speaking after the attack that we had on Bourbon Street.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that that's another one of those like moments. He really did a great job of answering questions, showing leadership. It felt like when he was being interviewed, and I feel like this might have been on a national platform, but when they were interviewing him, you could see that they were trying to steer him into like a bad space to say something negative about the city or whatever. And he just had a way of still just speaking to the matter in the way that a New Orleanian would.
So
that kind of shows you the urgency, that he understands the complexity of the situation and how it is that we move forward as a city. And I thought that that was really important and something that should be like spoken about, how well he handled the situation in the interviews where people were trying to put dirt on the city afterward.
So one of the things that you'll understand as an elected official is that sometimes you have your team, because usually what we see is just the person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we see the news clip, you just see the person they want to interview. What you don't see is somebody on that team, on the person that they're interviewing's team, either standing behind the camera on the other side or standing close to be out of the frame.
Right.
Okay. That's where I was for Susan.
Mm.
So I noticed, now this is something too. And and nobody's really had this conversation yet. So I'm having this, you getting breaking news here.
Mm-hmm.
So on Bourbon Street, you have a lot of law enforcement, especially what you're talking about for Sugar Bowl. You had a lot of law enforcement. You had state police. You had NOPD. You had wildlife and fisheries. I don't know when we start making wildlife and fisheries do a whole bunch of patrolling and stuff, but they were out there too.
Mm.
But and there were two agencies that were out there that has not received any recognition. One of them was OPSO. So OPSO has deputies that patrol the French Quarter, details, everything.
Mm-hmm.
They were out there. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look at the footage of where he wrecked into that crane, I'm talking about the terrorist, when he wrecked into the crane, right behind him is an OPSO car. There's the guys getting out of the car to confront him.
Mm-hmm.
And what we saw was when the door opened and those NOPD officers walked up, and I'm not taking anything away from them because they were heroes, but they started shooting because of that. But nobody's asked the question, where was OPSO?
Mm-hmm.
And they were rendering aid to the people that got hit. Nobody said anything. So there were two agencies out there that did not get any recognition for what they did. And this is all political.
Mm.
They don't like Susan's constitutional policing and how she does and tries to get people that are coming to jail, that's going to be in her custody. She's got to take care of them, but she's more concerned about when they get out. What are you going to do? Because I don't want you to. Do you know the recidivism rate for New Orleans is 7 and 8 times?
Oh.
Meaning if you go to jail, you more than likely got 7 more times you're going to go. And you're going to end up being in that jail. She's trying to cut that down. She's trying to cut that down. And this is something that broke my heart. Because number one, we're the ones in there more so than anybody else. But the part that really got me was some of the inmates that come up to you or say something and be like, hey, can you tell my mama or my daddy, that I'm all right and da-da-da-da, or you want me to call them? No, go to cell block 4. They in here too.
Oh.
You got whole families, the grandma, the granddaddy, the moms, the dads, and some of the kids in there. And I'm like, man, this ain't the place to have no family reunion. What are we doing to get out? What are we doing to get out? So we've been trying to develop how are we going to get people to stay out? How are we going to get reentry back into society working for you? And that's the stuff that they don't want her to do. They want to keep the jails full. And she's like, no. It's my job to try to get these people into a situation where they can take care of themselves. And they don't like that.
Of course not, because they want a new wave of mass incarceration, which brings us back to what you was talking about when I came in.
But that's
which
money.
is the amendments,
right?
And how they're trying to bring more kids in.
So we need to talk about that. The kids
right.
is key, because in one of those amendments, it gives you the whole list of what they want us to try to replace with anybody that's 17 or younger.
And it doesn't give any kind of limits.
Nope.
Remember, y'all, vote no on all four, or at least I'll say that.
Yep.
I'll take the liability.
Yep. All right, y'all. More coming up. We got news next.
Have you heard the secret of what New Orleans is talking about? I promise everything will be okay if you're listening here on the airwaves. It's that WBOK 12:30 a.m.
From the campus of Xavier University.
Look.
WBOK 1230 AM. Go. An Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Dallas, Texas honored its first black police officer, William McDuff, over a century after his death. McDuff, who served in the late 1800s, was murdered weeks after taking office. The city recognized his contributions and the mystery of his story. Education Secretary Linda McMahon stated that federal funding for essential education programs will continue, even as the Trump administration moves to shut down the Department of Education. Programs will be transferred to other agencies for efficiency. Tuberculosis cases in the U.S. are at their highest in over a dozen years, with over 10,000 cases reported last year, an 8% increase from 2023. And a federal judge dismissed a copyright lawsuit against Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, ruling that music experts couldn't prove enough similarity between her song and one by Louisiana songwriter Vince Vance. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Final hour. What's wrong?
Not.
You was in here throwing up your
Throwing
gang
up
signs?
gang signs.
You all right? You good?
I'm all right.
You scared me for a minute there.
I'm
like,
sorry.
What I did for you? What I did?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Shepard is in the building, yo. So
Here I am.
What do you think about the way that politics is played? I know you learning some of it, but I know you also have your own analogy.
Mm-hmm.
But to sit here and see you today, I'm like, okay, she learned something new, but she also said, uh-oh.
I did. I learned something new. I'm always shocked by Louisiana politics. I'm always shocked by the way that connections get some people out of trouble and put other people in trouble. I'm always shocked about the way that the justice system is weaponized against certain people. But my own analysis of the situation would be, I'll just say what my own personal preference would be, is to make sure that we have a black mayor in office. Of course, you want somebody who does the will that needs to be done and that has their ear to the streets and can help people. But I think that it's very important strategically that we do have a black mayor, because one is that we have Jeff Landry as governor. We need somebody who will stand up and be resistant to that. We need somebody who understands black people and has the ability to advocate for us, feel for us, ensure that we get contracts, ensure that we are able to still compete economically inside of the city during what we know has been an attempt to entrench us into deeper poverty or make the city more tourist and relegate black people to being servants throughout the city. So I think that we need someone black in place to be able to resist that. And we need somebody who is now geared toward, being very transparent, very driven by communities, in touch with the neighborhood, in touch with the people, has been on the ground understanding what the issues are.
Has been through the ringer.
And then also we need people who we know are going to be resistant against the tide of conservatism that is sweeping across the nations and or really nations, because you can see that it's also affecting people globally. But we need somebody who's going to stand up for our city, our blue dot, in the midst of all of that, and somebody who's not going to allow them to be able to have control. And also what we should know is that we're fighting white supremacy, and the ways that it's showing up in the background is not something that you see in the forefront. And so we have to be very strategic then about the people who it is that we put over the city, and that needs to be number one. It shouldn't necessarily be about, you know, people, the background. What it has to be is, what is it that the people are doing for folks, and can we trust them in this tide of conservative white supremacy that is sweeping across the nation? Are they about to sell us out for something, or are they going to stand up for something?
So let me ask you this, what you just said.
Yes.
So here we go.
Let's break it down.
Here we go. What did we, as a community, learn when we had a white mayor, when Mitch Landrieu was the white man that was in charge of the city? What did we learn from that?
That you could have somebody play in front of your face. You was about to give me the answer. Okay.
No. Okay. Because it will convert back to what was the hang-ups compared to this black person compared to having a white person in there. Everybody, I know we're going to hear those other folks say, y'all playing a race card, but it's the truth. It's not playing a race card.
The world is playing the race card right now, and that's why we need somebody who's going to stand up for us.
Right. So what did we learn from that experience as he's the mayor for 8 years compared to what we need to do now? What do we learn?
You want me to answer? Okay, I would think that what we need to learn. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was taking care of something out there. Okay, I think that what it is that we need to learn is that, I was going to say that people can play in front of your face, but that you can have somebody who is talking a good game, but not ensuring that there are policies that support you and your community. And you could have people who are taking contracts away from black people, people who are mismanaging funds and not being proactive about the funds that they have that can actually help the city. You could have, there are certain amounts of mismanagement that happened during that very big period of time when we also still had a bunch of money inside of the city that could have done things like repair the pumps and, you know, given us more things that could actually safeguard our community wellness. But instead, it seemed as though we had somebody who was able to talk a good game, but didn't actually give us the structures that we needed to support ourselves. And so what we need is somebody who's committed to giving those structures and giving community wellness to the people who are, I don't want to say the people who are at the bottom, but the masses of people, which is, we are a majority black city. I think that representation is important. I think that people need to see a strong black leader who is able to put things in place to help the goodness and wellness of black people in the city. And we need people who are committed to that.
Okay. I mean, that's a mouthful.
Okay, that's what I saw. So what did you see?
So I'm doing a comparison.
Okay.
And that comparison to me has got to be, I did it to you once, and who was the benefit? Who was the beneficiary of what I did to you the first time? And it wasn't us. We lost contracts. We had men that were able, and I said men, black men that were able to take care of garbage contracts, where the white mayor wanted to divide up those contracts, wanted to say, y'all paying too much for contracts. But you didn't do any other city contracts like that. That's number one. And remember, those contracts are not the biggest contracts in the city. We made it look like it was. It might have been the biggest contracts in the city for black people. But we just started handling them, 10, 15 years ago? That's it.
Can you help me out? I'm recalling a certain building that was for sale that some black people went in and bid on, and then they changed the what it was that they had to do in order to be able to procure the building. Is that the World Trade Center or the View Orleans, or there's something, one of those buildings over there?
I'm not certain on that one.
Okay. All right.
I know that people had bidded on, and I know Ray Nagin had said that the city needed to buy another building to move City Hall because City Hall was falling apart. And Jackie Clarkson, who was a city council person at the time, was oohing and awing about the deal. Somebody got in Jackie Clarkson's ear afterwards and told her that's a bad deal. And she came back the next day on the air. No, not a good deal. I wouldn't want it. This shouldn't be something that we did. And that was the Cox building because they were selling it at the time. And it would have made perfect sense because it was already technically renovated and ready to go. It had all the inputs and outputs, everything that it needed for City Hall to move. But they were like, nope, So my question has been, what did I learn if I look at the development of going back to having a white person compared to a black person?
In a majority black city.
Will I have that representation? Will it be a black person? How do we have a white person that's doing all the policing like we do now?
We know that Oliver Thomas stood up against that. I just want to say that.
Yes. So what happens with people that don't look like you? Trying to tell me that the only person that I have that could run the Sewage and Water Board is somebody that don't look like me? We don't have. And New Orleans, to me, has been the epitome. And listen, I'm not from here. I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not from here. But New Orleans is the epitome of something that I think that is detrimental to New Orleans. And that is we put people that ain't from here in high positions. And all the people that's from here in lower positions and lower money. And if we don't start taking a look I already know what's wrong. I've been here most of my life. You know what's wrong. You've been here most of your life. Somebody that's coming here to take that position got to learn the city.
Right.
They got to learn the culture.
Right.
They got to learn our issues. And that takes time. But somebody that's been here,
they already know what it is.
They already know what's wrong. And so you're trying to, it appears to me that New Orleans acts like it don't trust its own people to lead the way. So I gotten to the point now where I'm looking around and saying to myself, hey, if we don't do something with making our folks available to take some of these high-paying jobs and lead the way, then we're going to be in the same situation. Who's going to be the police chief? Who's going to be the fire chief? Who's going to be these folks that are going to lead the way? Because it's apparent to me that on a state level, we already in trouble. But what about the city level? How do we make sure that folks understand I run this? These are my choices. These are my people. And I do think that in some instances that we've got a lot of good people with a lot of knowledge that can do the job. They just don't get the opportunity. They just don't get the opportunity. And that's important. Now, why are you going back to Mitch Landrieu? Because Mitch did everything that he possibly could to turn the system upside down. That includes putting in in the police department this commander crap, which got thrown out already. We've got the Wisner funds being looked at. We've got all these different issues, but there was never anybody from the talking heads in the media, in the watchdog groups, that questioned or said anything. Y'all let him get away with murder. But here comes Cantrell, and the next thing you know, she doing this, she doing it. I'm going to give you 4 examples. Oh, you're going to be like, oh, go to commercial. You ready?
Okay, I think I am.
Now, and I got to apologize to the both of them, but everybody was all concerned about Vappy and the mayor, the Pentalba, and all that other stuff. But nobody questioned Mitch about his wife coming up to the second floor and ransacking the whole second floor because it said he was messing around with somebody up there. This girl threw papers and stuff. I almost said a bad word. Stuff everywhere. I'm talking about his wife. Ain't nobody said one word. Can't tell me it ain't true. I already know it's true. Second floor ain't been the same since.
Ooh.
Didn't make the news. Nobody said, hey. Nobody said, hey, what about the baby? What about the baby? You know about the baby, huh?
I think it might be close to commercial break, G.
Ain't nobody said nothing. See?
A baby?
And then ain't nobody said nothing about and then we sitting here like what, last week listening to the news talking about something. We don't have the $2 billion no more to do infrastructure. That money came in during his tenure.
Administration. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, wait a minute.
This is what I mean.
Why did we put all these new water pipes down Napoleon in St. Charles and they didn't flood?
And fixed the pumps instead of replacing the pumps.
And I was like, and then you get sued because you done vibrated the daggone sheetrock off of people's off their homes. So there was money that had to be paid out there. And now we're in a position where it's saying, oh, yeah, by the way, we $800 million short.
Oh.
What? But ain't nobody questioning. Shh, be quiet.
Did you say I'm an academic, so I want to hear these figures again. Did you say from $2 billion with infrastructure to being $800 million short?
In the hole, baby, in the hole.
How that happen, G?
Ain't nobody question the white man. And then they saying they're gonna blame all of that on LaToya. I can tell you they're gonna blame all of that on LaToya. But it started with Bitch Landrieu's crew. The biggest thing in this whole scenario is, and you ain't dumb, I'm not dumb, where the audit? Where the audit? Nobody is requesting an audit. You got $2 billion, $800 million short, and ain't nobody requesting an audit. Nobody. And you all, I'm talking about Cantrell's administration, I'm talking about all those folks, went and sat in front of the city council and said, well, you know, the cost of doing business went up and yada, yada, yada. Call for an audit. It's simple. And then you can see where the money went. Time frames that it went there. Anybody got some receipts? Anybody got any invoices? Hello? Is this thing on? Can y'all hear me? Maybe the black baby can tell me.
We got 2 minutes to commercial break.
Gaga goo goo. Gaga goo goo. Oh, I forgot it's a black baby. Where them fans at?
Oh!
Where them diapers at? Click. Where them diapers at? Click. Suck on your nook. Suck on your nook. Where them diapers at? Click. Where them diapers at? Click. Gaga goo goo. Gaga goo goo. Burnt.
Oh my goodness.
He had a little gas at the end. Burnt.
Oh my goodness. You said I was going to be asking for a commercial break, and you intentionally do this.
Where them diapers
Thank you, Wick.
Where them diapers at? Burnt. Oh, Bill. Oh, they
got a birthday baby.
Got a birthday baby. Got a birthday baby. All right, y'all. More coming up in a minute. Hold on.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
NOLA Public Schools is excited for the rest of this 24-25 school year journey with our families, watching our students dive into learning, growth, and success. As the school year continues, our dedicated educators are focused on keeping every student engaged and motivated. Let's keep embracing new challenges, celebrating achievements, and supporting each other to make the rest of this year even more impactful. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS through our social media channels for updates and resources. We're here to help our scholars attend today, achieve tomorrow.
WBOK and LCMC Health are proud to present Keeping You Well Cafe. 60 Minutes with LCMC Health, where the doctors speak directly to the people of New Orleans. LCMC Health is committed to improving the quality of care here in New Orleans, the Gulf South, and beyond. The Keeping You Well Cafe is another way for LCMC Health to engage with the community. At the Keeping You Well Cafe, LCMC Health joins WBOK and local businesses to answer your questions about wellness and health.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Dr. Shepard is in the building, y'all.
Hello, everyone.
Gerard Stevens with you. Number 504-582-9422 to get in contact with us. You had questions.
Yeah, because you were talking about...
Where them fans at? Come on.
You were talking about corruption.
Where them fans at? Where them diapers at?
I'm not talking about little black babies,
Little
secret black babies. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
Gaga goo goo. What you talking about?
The missing of funds or funds going missing without work being done. Because you were talking about
somebody was doing some work. Where them fans at? Come on. What?
You say come on like I'm about to come on with you. I'm not about to join.
I thought you was gonna throw your fan out.
No, I keep it in my purse though. Anyway,
throw them diapers out. So no, go ahead.
I was talking about, or you were talking about, having an excess of $200 billion for infrastructure.
$2 billion.
I'm sorry, did I say 200?
Mm-hmm.
$2 billion in infrastructure. And from going to that to a $800 million deficit.
Yep.
Okay. And you were calling for an audit.
Mm-hmm.
So that we could find out what happened to the funds, where's the money. Dare we even say, could we locate some money so that we could fix the pumps and the infrastructure? Because that work still needs to be done. Okay. So as you were talking about missing money, I said, well, what about the school board? And the missing, I thought it was $25 million. You told me I was lowballing it.
$36 million.
The missing $36 million.
When Avis Williams was here, she said that $36 million has come up, that it is not there. And they called it an accounting error.
An accounting error. But have they had to account for it? Has it been audited?
So it's amazing to me that this has been called an accounting
error.
Accounting,
have they called in an accountant? An accounting error with no audit.
Nope.
But they want another $20 million.
$20 million. And TD said, hell to the no.
Right. You wouldn't trust them with another $20 million if they lost $36 million.
If I got $36 missing out my bank account, I want to audit. I want to audit right then and there. $36. What? $36? Call a CPA right now. I need to have a conversation. Where my $36 at? $36 million.
And they want for her to come up with the other $20 million.
Right. So my whole thing has been, nobody has asked where that money is. Nobody's saying, was that an error? Was there audit? Make me feel better about the $36 million first.
Right. How did they even come up with that?
And now you want me to throw another $20 million on top of it. And she said, wait a minute, hold up.
And have you educated any children? Because I just think about the fact that you hear all of the commercials talking about progress, and that's on a 200-point grading scale. So when you talk about students having 80s, remember we did the math before.
Yeah.
At the time, I think it was a 150-point grading scale.
Yeah.
And now it's a 200-point grading scale.
Gotta lower that puppy.
They had to lower the grading scale, and now they're considering it progress. So you mean $36 million is missing, and
I want that $20 million.
And and they want another $20 million, which would put it at $56 million being thrown at the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to lower the standard again in order to be able to make it seem as though there's progress.
Mm-hmm.
So they want $56 million for a failing system.
Where them fans?
Oh my gosh.
Where them fans?
And so they need to be audited. I wish Dr. Wyatt well in trying to secure the superintendent position, because with her being such an honest woman, you would be able to find out more and get down to the bottom of it. Is it really $36 million? Has somebody stolen $36 million? Okay, was it ever really $36 million to begin with? And then you need somebody different to be accountable for that $20 million.
I want to ask Dr. Williams so bad. Dr. Williams can't come on, but she signed an agreement. They done paid out and all that other stuff. But I'm like, Plus, you go buy a house. You know me, I be riding by your house, waiting for you to come outside, looking suspicious.
Investigative journalism.
Yeah. She got that for sale sign on her house already. I'm like, boy.
You talking about getting out of Dodge?
That's the second time I done seen somebody just get out of Dodge. And that was the first OIG. He got out of Dodge. He called us on the road. I was like, hello? What's that noise in the background?
In the back, that's the
car.
The interstate.
That's the car. I was like, man, what you driving? Man, I'm on my way back to Chicago. I was like, you leaving? I had to get the heck up out of here, G. Sure did. Called us on the road. So, anytime there's a big glitch, when there's money glitch.
Did you say a glitch?
Glitch.
You better check people's pockets. You better pat those people down.
They walk into the bank. Talking about some, we up in here.
Where them fans?
Where them fans at? Put it in the bank account. Mm-hmm. So what we going to do about the cheering? It was quiet. What we going to do about the cheering? What we going to do about the teachers?
I'm with, who was that called earlier who said I need 3 things. And one of them was an overhaul of the education system.
They ain't gonna overhaul the education system.
It needs to be. It's a failing system. If you have to go to 200, nowhere else in the nation is the scale 200 points. Any place else that those students go to apply for, they're going to change it to a 100-point grading scale, and they'll be failing. Even 100 on a 200-point grading scale is a 50. On a 100-point grading scale. Come on, G.
I got my boots on the ground.
This is crazy.
All right, you ready?
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not, but just do it anyway.
I'm going to go head on for you. They're not going to overhaul the education system. You know why? They found out there's a lot of money that goes to the federal and the state for education, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to get rid of the Department of Education. I'm going to get rid of it and send it back to the states and make it sound like the state's going to do something. So now you're telling me that the overlooking of the system is going to be done by the state, not by the federal government. All that racism and everything else that's been in the education system, that's going to be done by the state. They are going to get rid of the Department of Education.
That's the reason why we need to get rid of the charter school system.
No,
so that we could wind up having public schools.
No, ma'am.
Once again.
No, ma'am.
When they were on 100-point grades.
So I got a call last week from the folks over there at the school at Sarah T. Reed saying they had a big brawl on the school grounds inside of the gate.
Oh, Lord.
So I watched the video of the explanation of what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
And what had happened was the CAO stood up and told them that didn't happen on campus. That didn't happen on the grounds of the school. I'm looking at the video of these kids beating the hell out of somebody on the campus in the grass. And I'm like, why are you lying to the parents? For what reason?
Liability.
Is it? It's a lie for something. You can add ability to it if you want to, but you lying about something? Oh, I put that together good.
You did. That was good.
I tried. But I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, these schools going to do what they want to do. This lady is in charge of a school system. You getting paid. And that school system was like, screw what you think. Your line is a line. It wasn't on the campus. It wasn't on the grass. It was next door at a parking lot.
Oh, no.
I was like, I ain't see no. I saw grass. Unless the parking lot was grass, that was on your campus, inside of the gate. Now, ain't their fault. Now, the kids whipped this dude's ass. Because the dude came on the campus, first thing in the morning, beating on folks.
Oh.
So them kids jumped that boy and beat him like they owed him money. What's your name? Gunther. They beat him. Call me Toby. They beat him. They got it all on video. I'm like, okay, so the parents had to come to the school. Next thing I know, the parents in the daggone, they in the principal's office in the school, they fighting. What you fighting for? You ain't gonna be going looking over my kid, da 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 da. So the parents have got to fighting in the principal's office.
Each other?
Mm-hmm. What y'all fighting for? And now they done suspended some of the kids. I'm like, don't suspend the kids. The kids was damn protecting your ass.
They was doing what they were supposed to do.
They whooped that boy's butt for coming on there, swinging on folks, trying to beat up those kids. And the kids took it upon themselves to jump him, protecting those other kids. They couldn't protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you suspend those kids for fighting. This is the cluster, you know what?
Because of people trying to discipline black bodies because they don't know how to control them and see the humanity or have any empathy and compassion.
But don't lie to the
and because it went viral.
Yeah, don't lie to the people and tell them that this didn't happen on the campus. This happened outside of the campus, and then
they specialize in lying. G.
This was they jumping off the bus. Unless the bus was in the middle of the street, the bus was pulling up to the school. They getting off of the bus. Coming out there looking like George Foreman, God rest his soul.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Muslim, come on. Hold my book back.
I guarantee you they didn't look like
hold
that.
My book back. Hold my book back. I got them. Not them ninjas.
That's not the way it went down.
That ain't the way it went down with them. But I'm just thinking to myself, when are we going to stop lying to ourselves?
That's not us lying to ourselves. That's them lying to us. I feel as though, at least from having the conversations that we have on the radio, that most people know that this school system isn't working. So we need people to come out and demand that it be, torn down or given to somebody who could shake it up. It needs a drastic overhaul. And it needs a 100-point grading scale.
I'm sorry.
To match the rest of the nation. No place else on the face of the planet do they have the same charter school system that we have. It's an experimental system. Dr. Bowie says that all the time. It's an experimental system, and the experiment is failing if you got to put it on 200 points.
So I'm sorry. You ready?
Yeah.
And I have been like, one thing after the other. It's not going to change. And the reason it's not going to change is because there is a level of illiteracy that is higher than, and a lot of folks don't realize this, that illiteracy rate is not just the kids.
Right, it's the parents.
It's the parents. So your school ends up being that daycare, that babysitter, so that I'll have some time to myself during the day. You need to get on that bus and go. But you're not even asking your child, what's your homework? You're not even asking the teacher, why is my child's grade? I bet you that any parent-teacher conversation, as far as the conference is concerned, on a quarterly when they get their report cards and stuff, I bet you those rooms be empty. I'm gonna have my teacher-parent conversation on Wednesday night at 7:00. Y'all welcome to come and sit down in here and talk about your kid. I bet you those rooms are empty.
I hear that. I hear what you're saying. But I'm not going to say it's not going to change. I'm going to say we have to change it. And also I'm going to say that there are simple practices that we could use to be able to combat that.
You're an educator,
Right. I mean, very simple. Like, who's
listening?
Make sure that the kids read every day, once a day.
You can't make sure that I read once a day when I can't read.
I understand that, but that's what the parent is. Just keep putting it in front of their face, get the little audio book, whatever they got to do. They have to read every day. They need to watch the news every day. Just that would help to be. And when they watch TV, you put the captions on so that they got to read what they hear. Just simple practices that we can do to bring up the literacy of the entire city. And, there's a such thing as like overall education where you help the parent to be able to learn as well as the child. All I'm saying is that those are simple tactics and we just have to implement and we have to push for change. It just has to change. And I think we're at the point where we can't continue to accept anything less than. I know I don't understand everything about power, but hopefully we can get in a good mayor that can press the school board. We also need an audit done for what it is that's taking place. And we need a better superintendent. And I think we know who I'm talking about. I support Dr. Wyatt. So, and having a great educator who's honest above it with a really great, strong mayor, I think that we could see a lot of change. And just with a few very simple tactics, although I'm sure they have more creative ideas for how to do it. Now, that's how I see it. We got to change it. We can't accept it. We can't accept it like this.
But you got to understand something, too, and I want you to put this into the scenarios, and that is how you were raised. This is not something that you just learned because I got a good idea.
Right.
This is how I was raised.
Right.
And it became a part of your institutional learning because your folks were saying, you need to do your work. You need to do your work. And then you also understood that education takes you to another level in your life.
Right.
So would you think, though, that those folks that are the chicks, not the chickens, but the chicks, what they learning? And do they know that they're not learning what they're supposed to be learning? And do the parents understand that?
Right.
Evidently, they don't.
I think that there's so many of us that do understand.
No, I'm talking
that
about
we
the
gotta
parents and-
ride down.
Okay, so the parents and the kids.
Right.
All right.
They might not understand. I mean, some people do, and some people are very frustrated with the school system, and are frustrated knowing that their childs aren't tracking at grade level.
Mhm.
Some people know. Some people may not know, but I think that a lot of people know, and I just think that is our responsibility as being the parents and the guardians of this generation. Like, that's our responsibility, is to ride down on that system.
And then you think about something politically. Who on the school board, they got elected on that school board,
Mm-hmm.
ever made it to another level of politics in their life other than just being on the school board? Who else?
I don't think that my political memory is long enough to answer that.
Nobody.
Okay.
You're on the school board, that might be the detriment
That's
of
it.
your political career.
Mm.
Because evidently somebody's not listening or paying attention to what you have to say to make me want to be a politician. Oh my God, that could be the detriment of your political career.
Well, it should be if $36 million is missing, though.
36. I'm talking about $36. I need to know what my $36 is. $36 million.
They should not move forward if $36 million is missing and they haven't raised some kind of alarm.
Wait a minute. Hark. I hear my dollars and my cents moving somewhere. Though that's a shame to me that they just had the man standing up there. Yeah, we had some. How the hell do you make a era of $36 million? And you get to stay, but Avis Williams has to go.
Mm-hmm. Throw the whole thing away. It's supposed to be throw the whole thing away. They need all new people and an auditor.
You made $36 million. Let's say the money wasn't there in the first place. All right. Let's just say it is a era. They brought you up to speak about it. You made the era. Why are you still here? You made the error, not Avis. She went by what you said. But white man standing up there, well, we made this error, da-da-da. All right, thank you very much. And went and stood in the back of the people.
Mm-mm.
Why was Avis had to go? Why she had to go? Because it was on her watch? It was on your watch, too. Those people need to go.
The whole thing.
See ya.
I'm okay with the whole thing.
Where them flags at? Not flags.
Peace signs at.
Yep. You got to go. You got to go. And they kept him. And I'm just thinking to myself, why does this continuously happen to us, but not them? Why? Because it's us. So if that's happening to people that are making several $100,000 a year and have very good sense and has all the, I would say the letters in front of their name and behind their name, what do you think about the poor people that don't have jack, that can't read? Your child can't read. You trying to make ends meet. You trying to get a voucher so your child can go to school. What do you think is going to happen to them? They're going to fall through the cracks. What has happened in this world that we live in, somebody, I'll never forget this as long as I live. It had to be at least 15 years ago. I was sitting in an F-150 truck with Calvin Mackey, Dr. Calvin Mackey.
Mm-hmm.
We were at Oakwood Park
Mm-hmm.
in Metairie, right off of Wall Boulevard. His sons was getting ready to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this big, thick book. And he said, man, when you get a chance, take a look at that, G. I was just sitting in the car talking to him. I said, what is that book? He said, you should know that book is the new Get Up. That's going to be the new Get Up, because what's going to end up being is education is the new amount of money that people are going after. They're going after that money. That's the new hang up. Folks are going for the education money. Ain't trying to teach them, but they know that a lot of corporations and all that, they're going to throw money into education. He was right.
Mm-hmm.
He was right. So with that being said, how do you expect me to believe in the education system that ain't nobody asked no audit? But I'm telling you, money missing. But now we talking about some throw $20 million at it. I'm with TD on this one. Somebody need to add some answers. So, all right, let's take a break. We'll take the break here. We'll come back. We'll have more conversation. Get ready to get up out of here for Monday. It's so good to see you. I got Dr. Shepard, y'all.
It's good to be seen.
All right, more coming up.
New Orleans, are you ready? A fresh voice in the city is here, bringing you the beats, the culture, and the stories that matter. From local music and food to real talk on what's happening in the streets, we've got you covered. Stay tapped in. Follow us on all platforms at WBOK 1230 for the latest updates and exclusive content. Your city, your culture, your news. Don't just hear about it, be about it. Follow us at WBOK 1230 now.
The National World War II Museum. Located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans, the National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
The New Orleans Teacher Job Board is hosting a citywide career fair for current and future educators. Explore open school positions, teacher certification pathways, and career growth opportunities. The career fair will take place this Saturday, April 5th, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. at Walter L. Cohen High School. Visit newschoolsforneworleans.org for more information and registration.
When you talk, we listen. WBOK 1230 AM. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Final few minutes here. You said you support Dr. Wyatt, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
What made you go there?
Because we know that she's an honest person. Mm-hmm. The thing that makes a lot of people be against her is the fact that she uncovered fraud once before.
Right.
So I think that we need somebody honest who uncovers fraud to be inside of that position and to lead an audit and to actually care about the children.
I couldn't believe that and God forgive me.
Who also is a specialist in education.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was I couldn't believe that there was a system of blackballing. Mm-hmm. And that system of blackballing was not because she did anything wrong. It's because she found out who was doing it wrong.
Right. She did it right.
Which led to the arrest of their pastor.
Okay.
And then after that, she still was blackballed.
Right. For doing the right thing.
Which made me go, what's wrong with us? It ain't just white folks. Us too. And I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all scared? What is it? Is it a level of being scared? Is it a level of not accepting? Or was it a level of you miss your pastor because he in jail?
It's a level of corruption. Right. It's a level of corruption, and people who are with corruption don't like honest people. So, I mean, she did a good job, and we need people in who can do a good job in a really bad situation.
And that situation was, pretty bad. Pretty bad because it was a lot of money.
Right.
So what did the kids miss?
Okay, and now we're talking about $36 million.
So here's my comparison. We put South Hall in jail. Mm-hmm. We ain't trying to find out who else should be going because their money missing. We just saw an announcement made. Oh, hey, money's missing. Oh, yeah, and by the way, we need 20 more million.
And you better give it to us.
And better. And I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute, but what about the investigation about the money itself?
Mhm.
There ain't one.
Oh, there isn't one.
No. No, ma'am. You said it in very good English. There isn't one.
I'm sorry.
There ain't one. I went straight Negro. Ain't one. Mm-mm.
That's ridiculous. You know what that feels like? Who is that? Is that Mr. Harold that always calls in and talks about the 120 billion missing?
That's missing.
Okay, so when it comes to these large amounts of missing money, we don't have any way of accounting for that. That is like really wild. And so when you said, is it a level of something? I just think about the level of corruption. That's why we need honest people in place that have redeemed themselves. Come on. Or who are always busting up corruption and are honest, like Dr. Wyatt that you just mentioned. So I mean, I'm making my point very clear about who it is, the people who I support, but I'm doing so thinking about the problem that we're in and what we need standing up for us.
So as we get closer to October, November of this year, we're going to find out a lot of bull crap with political folks, with the folks that's, running for office. We're going to find out a lot of political stuff.
I just found out about vehicular manslaughter that I knew nothing about.
Oh,
allegedly.
There's more to come.
Allegedly vehicular manslaughter.
There's more to come. Why you looking at me like that, Toby? I mean, you have that look.
Because that's a big one. Like I said, there's no statute of limitations around murder. That's a big one. I wasn't expecting it. I found that out today. What else could you surprise me with? Before October.
Oh, don't ask. Oh, don't ask. Don't ask. Hey, Miss Anita.
Oh, hey. Listen, I know I'm going to get off the topic a little bit. I had sent you a message, Mr. G, and I wanted you to look at that video about how those cops abused that child at that crawfish fest down in St. Bernard. He literally took his child, picked him up, and body slammed him and walked away. Now, he didn't arrest him. Now, some of the other kids got arrested, but this particular child was probably innocent because that cop actually walked away and made a smirk on his face like, oh, I did something. A white cop in St. Bernard Parish. So I need you to look at that. And for one thing, Channel 8 was talking about how they got the crawfish from China, but they never once mentioned how these cops was abusing those kids out there at that crawfish fest.
And so they were abusing them?
Oh, they were abusing. They literally, they was fighting these children like, you need to look at the video.
Mm-hmm.
They took it down, but I sent it to you before. I sent it to your private
they took it down?
message. Oh, they took it down. Because the young lady, I know her, and she texted me back and told me they had took it down. But I told her, I said that I shared it to her page so she could save it to her page for her lawyer or whoever she's going to get involved with.
Did she get a lawyer yet?
No, I don't know. I haven't.
But that's her son.
But she haven't said anything.
But that's her child?
Now, I think, it was her child because she posted it was her child.
Mm-hmm. Was there any conversation about what happened?
I haven't heard anything. This was a Brown. I didn't go out there. But I saw it on the video, like minutes after it happened, because somebody had posted recording it while it was live.
Okay.
While it was moving. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
I'll take a look at it.
I pray all well for the message. I was listening at the situation with that. If I was the mayor, I wouldn't give them the 20 million either, because if they can't come up with 36 million, well, what make you think they're gonna spend the 20 million, right?
Well, that's what I'm looking at.
That's what we asking.
So I don't think that's a wrong question either.
He's scared. the kids need the help. And with they're taking out the education system, the president, what he doing with the education stuff, children don't stand a chance, and they're gonna always be at the bottom of the level. So they're thinking they are in a higher percent, which they can't. They are according to their skill. But if they go out there in the real world, they're not gonna make it out there according to the real world.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Miss
All
Anita.
right, Dr. Shepard, I'm still waiting on my product, honey.
Okay.
Please send it to me because my hair is, I don't want to tell you how it is now. You have to hurry up and send me my stuff.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. No.
Come
All right,
on
Miss
now.
Anita. Thank you, baby. Appreciate
All
you.
right, y'all have a good one.
You too. You order some stuff?
Yeah.
You got all the
My
money.
customers be calling.
They be
yeah.
calling. They be calling you, man. They be calling you.
Honeydew products.
Honeydew products.
Honeydew products. People can follow me on Instagram or Facebook.
Okay. They can get you that way, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good to see you.
It's good to see you. Are we about to have the answer for this money?
Where them fans at? Huh? Where they at? Where they at? That's your answer. There you
Yeah,
go.
where they at?
We got to go, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Be
Thank
careful
you,
this
G.
evening. We'll see you tomorrow.